Hi, I'm Judi Vitale with ReadTheStars.com. I'd like to speak to you about the Neptune retrograde that began on June the 4th, 2012. That was such a big day with an eclipse and then everybody talking about this transit of Venus across the sun, where Venus could be seen going across the sun, that we really didn't pay much attention to it. But Neptune is like that. Neptune is an energy that is attributed to the god Neptune, of course, of the seas. And think about the sea for a moment. Not only how powerful it is and how sweeping it is, but also how dark and mysterious it can be. Yes, it can bring us rest. Yes, it can bring us escape from the reality that we face from day to day. But it also can bring many mysteries. And I think that over the next several months, between now and November 11th, 2012, we're going to be exposed to many mysteries, and we're going to have to grasp for answers. Where do you go for answers when you have a planet like Neptune influencing you, where there's confusion and deception, lies, misunderstandings in all directions? Well, the only place to really go is within. To ask yourself, what is the connection that I have made with my higher power, with God, however it is that you characterize the power that's behind your own existence. This is what Neptune is all about, is connecting us to our highest selves. So I would encourage everybody during this time, and always, but especially during this time, to tune into Neptune and really understand where your spirituality is and how you can enhance it and allow it to become the driving force in your life. As the world around us becomes increasingly confusing and deceiving, it's going to become ever more important to do this. Right now I'm going to go through some dates and some possible kinds of feelings that you'll have around those dates. Get a pen and pencil if you don't want to watch this video several times to get the information. I will also post it on the site, of course. Alright, as you know, Neptune has moved into Pisces, so it's especially sea-like or ocean-like right now because of it being so, in a sign that is so closely affiliated with the waters, with the imagination, with the surreal, with the unreal. So, as it makes aspects from this sign, it's going to draw the other planets into that kind of world. So let's just go through. Of course, it's going to do the moon several times each month as it goes around. There'll be in the daily horoscope some references to that, and that's nothing out of the usual. That's just sort of like what happens. But there is probably the biggest thing that's going to happen during this Neptune retrograde period is going to be a square that Neptune makes with Jupiter on June the 25th. I've alluded to this before, and I will be making an extensive analysis of this when the time comes closer. But this time is going to be one where hopes are inflated, and the word inflation in general is going to seep into the cosmic consciousness, in my opinion. So that's just something that we need to think about and keep in the background. It's very important not to overextend our hopes and to actually do the hard work that it takes to make our dreams come true, not to just assume that they're going to happen on their own. Okay? So that's the biggest thing, a square to Jupiter on June 25th. Some of the other things, the other highlights, are going to be a trine to Mercury on the 8th, which is a nice creative kind of way of thinking and expressing ourselves. An opposition to Mercury on September the 1st. This is going to be more or less a difficulty in communicating clearly because there'll be fog and misunderstandings around the different ideas that are being exchanged. Then we have a square to Mercury on October the 29th. And this is going to be more or less, again, a struggle between wanting to say what's the truth and wanting to say what other people want to hear. So we have to be very careful there. There'd be a nice trine to Venus. Neptune trine Venus equals love. This is the thing, that little piece of magic that allows a potential lover or the one that we've been with forever to look like the perfect person. So on August the 9th, look for love and romance from Neptune and that spiritual kind of connection that you get when it's really right. Neptune's opposition to the Sun on August the 24th is going to also be a lack of clarity. And a lack of clarity in everybody's consciousness, not just, your own. And of course, if your birthday is around there, you're going to have Neptune opposite the Sun in your solar return. And Virgo people are particularly befuddled right now by the people in their lives because they seem much less reliable than they did a few years ago when they met them. And then we have a trine to the sun on October the 23rd. That will be with the sun in very early Scorpio. And Neptune trine the sun is a good time for creative activities, especially artistic endeavors. A trine to Mars on August the 26th will allow us to have a facility of doing actions that are creative or spiritual. So if you want to start a meditative practice in earnest, something that's like really a daily thing where you sit and hear yourself and what's inside there talking to you and allowing that force to drive your life, as I said in the beginning of the video, that would be a really good time to start. Then there'll be a square to Mars on October the 7th. And October the 7th is going to be a time when we're going to have difficulty seeing what's real. And also, Mars and Neptune together often mean poisoning. So there may be a news story that has to do with that. Let's hope not, because it's never a nice thing. And then the last planet that I'd like you to think about, last planet any of us want to think about for that matter maybe, is Saturn. And there will be a trine between Neptune and Saturn. And Saturn enters Scorpio. Woo! Okay, yeah, we're going to have that going on too by then. On October 10th. So Neptune and Saturn in a trine is a really good way of instituting, making regular that connection with the spirit, not only on our level, but also on a societal level. So in some ways, it may be that, religion takes a place in the news. It may be that spirituality in general takes a place in the news. It may be new discoveries that allow us to see ourselves as something different from what we've thought we were all this time. But in any event, I do believe that Saturn trine Neptune will bring a lot of enlightenment, some, bare truths that we may not be ready to understand, but Saturn will help to make them real for us. Saturn is helpful sometimes, especially when it's in a trine aspect. Okay, so that's my story of Neptune retrograde from June 4th through November 11th, 2012. Again, I'm Judi, Judi at readthestars.com. If you want to know more about how Neptune affects you and your chart, you can get a private video reading with me, a 5 to 7 minute video made only for you that nobody else but you and I can see. And you just go to readthestars.com, click on private video readings, there's a tab up there, and proceed from there and we'll be in touch. I hope that the Neptune retrograde brings wonderful, beautiful things to your life.